Hey, what's up, you bunch of fans? It's me, the ever humble Jake Monroe, here to deliver you yet another video while sick. Actually, I got a cold, so I'm not feeling zippity-doo-dah today. There are no bluebirds on my shoulder. Now, this fact might make me far less agreeable than usual, as if I have any mercy ever. Quite liberating, you should try it. And by liberating, I mean, yeah, you feel liberated where you can say pretty much whatever you're feeling, but you also liberate yourself from being surrounded by idiots. And if you constantly remind weak, pathetic loser types that you're not gonna put up with their stuff, because we're still in the first minute of the video, then they tend to just eject themselves from your life. You don't need to put in any kind effort. But today we're gonna be reacting to metalheads. Yeah, metalheads, the best. Boy, I love that metal. There's no insistence that metal needs to be political unless specifically there is a political metal band. It's not just inherently, as a subculture, political. There's no gatekeeping on those grounds. There's a reason for this. It's because the demographics are different, but I'm not gonna get into that. There is gatekeeping in there, but only if you want to venture down those roads, man. Like, if you want to get into black metal, then prepare to suffer for it. So let's watch some metal-y stuff, shall we? Maybe let's have a look. I'm not well, dude. Oh, this guy again. I have that guitar. I love the grunting. Oh, the BC Rich Warlock. What an absolute staple of black metal, dude. Terrible, terrible guitar. But the BC Rich Warlock is like every metal kid's first guitar. It wasn't mine. My first metal guitar I still own. It's that Jackson Warrior I have over there. Why is he keeping his guitars outside? Oh, you're in trouble now. The boy's not a drummer. That much was immediately apparent. Man, she threw the book at him, literally. You know, it's a nice little bit of levity in this world of fire we're currently living in. Liberals are still currently trying to burn America down to the ground in every dumb way they can possibly think of, supported by NGOs. And then, of course, you've got what's going on in the Middle East, which we're all gonna have to feel the consequences of in some way or another. I've said this before, and I'll say this again, man. We are, not to sound fatalist here, but we are heading towards the point of no return, right? The cogs of which have already started to turn. You can already see, like, the symptoms of these things. The reason why millennials are getting so unbelievably nostalgic at the moment is not because we're getting older. And I've also not even seen other generations indulging in nostalgia as much as millennials do. There's obviously a specific reason for it. It's because shit has changed so drastically for the worse, so fast, that millennials are constantly delving into, like, the 90s and, like, do you remember when stuff was not so dystopian? Do you remember that? But it's also good as well that we've still got comedy Instagram reels to revel in as well. That's real nice. It was fun, and I like the dedication to the bit, man. Like, there's so many just TikTok and Instagram reel skits that are just lazy. But there was actually, like, dedication to that. There was, like, a decent camera that was used by the looks of it, and, you know, several rooms and props and makeup and all sorts of stuff. I still like to see content that has, like, actual intent behind it. A process. I mean, even what I'm doing right now has a process to it. You know, I've got like a really great camera. I'm recording in the highest quality possible. I've also got like a decent audio setup with a decent audio signal chain as well to make sure that your viewing experience is as pleasurable as possible. And yet you still get, like, a lot of these goth chicks, for example, they do this kind of basic shit where even this they can't even do well. So they just use camera audio and they don't light their room very well, and they don't really bother or care. They're operating on the absolute basic level of production possible. Not that you need production in order to do anything good, but it certainly helps. Also shows the audience that you give a shit about your career when you actually, like, you know, put effort into the production and stuff. Ladies, seriously, a microphone is not that expensive to invest in. You don't need one of these. You can get a shotgun mic. Even some basic investments in lighting. Girls, it's like super simple. These aren't expensive things. See these lights I use in the background? They're like 20 bucks. They're for lighting the front of your house. That's it. That's all they are. These aren't like Elgato Streamer Deck premium lights or anything like that. These aren't Streamer Boy lights. They're like 20 bucks. They just add like a little bit of flair, you know? Kind of make your setup kind of recognizable. Content kind of easier to watch. People aren't having their senses assaulted by the blown out highlights or the echoey sound. God, even intelligent and interesting people struggle to maintain an audience if they have bad production. I love to think about all the times that I've managed to maintain an audience talking about stuff that's not very interesting purely because of the quality of my production. Kind of makes you think like I have something important to say because I've put a lot of effort into making sure that what I say is as much clarity as visually and audibly possible. Just get out of here. Oh, girl or metalhead. That's a metalhead. Yep. That's a girl. That's a dude, that's a dude. Yeah! How many did you get? How many did you idiots get? Were you able to deduce from physique and hair density and even the quality of the hair that it was a man or a woman? Because I sure could. And I tell you what, man, it gets even harder than that. Some of these dudes actually like look after their hair and like get blowouts and stuff and like have the whole Farrah Fawcett thing going on. Some guys kind of just treat their hair like a rag on their head that they move around. But some guys, like some not so straight ones, will like put more effort into looking after their hair.
How to metal scream in 3 easy steps.
Nah. Nah.
So I need to talk about this like learning how to scream thing, right? Because I see a lot of videos on it, and as someone who's not a naturally gifted singer, I'm not. I can sing quite well now, but only because it's taken me so long to figure out how to work with my trash voice. There is a massive natural aspect to singing because I have heard some of the greatest vocalists ever talking about their approach and how they learned to sing. And they're like, yeah, I just kind of did it and then like made it better over the years. And I was like, cool, that's literally not how my approach has been to singing at all. Like Spencer Sotelo, for example, one of the greatest metal vocalists at the moment. In terms of singing, I'd say singing is like he's a great screamer, but like he's not like the screamer dude, but his singing is fantastic. And he's been on, I've seen him talk to a bunch of vocal coaches, like metal vocal coaches. And what Spencer is saying in order to create his vocal tone is like the complete opposite of what these vocal teachers say to do. Maybe there is just a natural connection between their mind and their voice, and physiologically maybe their voice is built up differently, because voices do vary quite significantly from person to person. Like if you listen to me talk, right, and then you listen to some of the greatest vocalists ever talk, their voices are significantly higher. It's like good to have a high voice if you're a singer. Not so good if you have a low voice and you want to be a singer. There's not really much you can do there. You're not going to be as versatile. You still can. It's just your prima voce is not going to be as good, right? It's not going to be where it needs to be. It's not to say there aren't really, really great low singers out there with low voices. I'm just saying that most of the really great vocalists out there, their voices are all really high all the time. But another reason why I know that being a singer, a good one anyway, is almost directly correlated to your natural talent for doing such a thing, your natural physiology of your throat and your mind connection with your vocal cords, is that, has anyone ever heard the interview with Jack Black about how he discovered he could sing? And he just was like, yeah, I'll do like a stage show or whatever. And then he just discovered he could sing like that. He just did it. But this thing with learning how to scream is that not only are people's voices and their connections with their voices so incredibly varied, some people have almost no connection at all. They can be great voice actors, they can be terrible singers. It's because there are so many different ways to scream. Well, there's three. Metal screaming tutorials are some of the most unbelievably useless tools for learning how to scream. It's not like showing you on an instrument where to put your fingers or anything. It's like, what you want to do is like, you want to like get your voice where it does this, but then you want to be open and your palate to the top, and you kind of want to do this with your mouth, and then what you want is your diaphragm to be doing this, but not too much, and you want your abs, and it's like, how can anyone possibly? It might be applicable to some people, but for most people, it's just like, because I've watched tons of them, and for the most part, it's like, yeah, I can't do that. I've watched a million how to scream tutorials, and I learned how to scream by myself, by practicing myself and using my own techniques and feeling out my own voice.
5 hottest things you can say to a woman. Number 1. Number 2. Number 3. Number 4. Number 5.
Well, now you know, boys. Go out there, get yourself a woman today.
Every metalhead has that one dead guy that they just can't stop talking about.
It's because there's weirdly a lot of them. Yeah, Alexi. One of the main reasons is obviously because you're in the rock and roll lifestyle. It's not really like this anymore, which I have noticed. There is like a drastic shift in the self-destructive nature of the rock and roll lifestyle. It's not as drinky, druggy violence anymore. Now it's like very clean and respectable. Yeah, we're just here to have a good time, and because touring is so unbelievably taxing on the body, especially if you're a drummer or a singer, that smoking, drinking, and taking drugs and screwing yourself up all the time is not good for yourself. Also, because metal bands don't make money anymore, you can't just be trashing hotel rooms and smashing stuff up because that comes out of your advance, right? Or your tour money, because metal bands don't even get advances anymore. But the reason why a lot of these singers were, and really iconic people were dying, is because, you know, it was like the self-destructive nature, substance abuse. Some of them were just victims of happenstance. Like Cliff Burton, for example, from Metallica, is a bus crash. You can't avoid that. That happens to you, man. That's not the consequences of your actions. That's just something that happens to you. Same with Dimebag Darrell, just up on stage, gunned down because of a crazy, insane fan. That is absolutely unavoidable. It's like, yeah, we'll just not get up on stage. It's avoided. It's like, yeah, but then you'd have to know that you were going to be gunned down, right? This is knowledge you're not going to have access to. But for a lot of rock stars out there, you know, they are sort of victims of themselves. For example, Alexi Laiho drank himself to death. And there's been evidence of this for decades. There's a bunch of other metal musicians out there that just were victims of themselves, their substance abuse. But occasionally you get like this random thing that happens, which happened to Jimmy, the Rev. There's been no real cause of death for him. He just kind of left, which sucked. He kind of was like, my work here is done, and he left us. And that sucks, because of what Avenged Sevenfold turned into after he was no longer a part of Avenged Sevenfold. Jimmy was like that rare spark of true, honest originality and uniqueness. You don't meet someone like him every now and again. And when you do, they're very rarely someone who's, you know, developing a skill that's applicable to like a metal or a rock band or something. But also the reason why metalheads always think about these guys who are dying is because almost all the ones that die were the ones that contributed so goddamn much to the metal scene. It's like, this clearly has to be happening on purpose. Are women trying to get you to hate them? I think they must be trying. I'm not falling for the psyop. I am, however, falling for this psyop. I'm falling for this one. Why are you so good at that? Why are you so good at that, dude? See, you gotta love the sense of humor in the metalhead scene. It's because it's mainly dudes. Oh, I'm going there. You ever noticed why there's just no funny goth content? It's because it's mostly women and women aren't funny. It's not your fault, ladies. It's not your fault. Everyone knows that humor is stored with the testicles, along with pee. Pee and humor, and a little bit jizz actually. So pee, humor, and jizz are stored in the human male testicles, in the balls. Everyone knows that's where that shit comes from. Have you ever met a funny eunuch? No, you haven't. This is why there's so many like funny reels on Instagram. It's because dudes are hilarious. But look, ladies, don't let me detract from your value as a gender, because we had to be funny. You've got boobs and butt. You don't need to try so hard. In fact, for the most part, women don't need to try so hard. There's women who are millionaires out there driving G-Wagons through LA because they flashed their gash. They got their gash out. I couldn't possibly do that. No man could. We kind of have to be like good at something or be funny. So let us have this, ladies. Okay? You've got your cheat codes and we've got ours. We can crack jokes. Let us be good at that. Let us be, just allow that. Put your ego aside and allow men to be good at comedy. Well, not even allow. Just accept the fact. Ellen DeGeneres has never said anything funny in her life. Okay? Neither is Amy Schumer. Maybe Jennifer Coolidge, but she's a lesbian, so there has to be something to that, right? But then again, she's not a stand-up comedian that writes her own shit. What's the name of the other woman? What's her name? She wrote Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt. What's her name? She's in it. She puts herself in it. The name's gone from my head. Well, that show was alright, I guess. It's pretty well written. I'm gonna have to look this up. Unbreakable Kimmy. Tina Fey. What the Why the hell does Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt have like 80 writers? And almost half of them are dudes. Okay, whatever. I had a great day today because I made it a great day. Actually, I did not make it a great day. Autravine did. Thank you for keeping my nose open, Autravine. High five. Brand deal when? Catch you guys later.